welcome to Shovelware Diggers. Our dig team is currently excavating the Softkey Shareware 2000 Hit Games 2CD collection. You can find a link in the video description listing the entire directory structure of this archive. Here's what our diggers have for week 280. For more information on how to join the dig team, simply follow the Patreon link in the video description. Now, without further ado, let's get to it. First up, we have a team dig from JP Ronnie and Richard Ward. WINGAMES /og /dare to DRM. I know what this is. And this has absolutely nothing to do with DRM or digital rights management or anything like that. It actually stands for Dare to Dream. So I'm actually a little surprised this hasn't shown up on the show yet, because I knew this was on this collection. Like, this collection is where I first played the game from, but yeah, I guess I might as well just show it. We've actually seen games like it before on the show. In fact, we might have seen this game on the show already. Just, it's hard to know because it has a very similar feel to stuff that we've seen. But anyways, where's the readmes and stuff? We got a text file here, that'll do. And yeah, this actually came from Epic Mega Games, which is a little weird because most of the stuff out of Epic was not Windows software, but as you know, Castle of the Winds was published by Epic Mega Games, and this is another one of their Windows games. And this particular one says here was created by Cliff Bleszinski, who's no stranger to the Epic stuff. Music by Robert Allen, and copyright 93. And so yeah, this came out in 3 different episodes, so this would be just the first one. Oh yeah, I always find this amusing. Whenever you look through the system requirements for a Windows piece of software and it says one of the requirements is a mouse, it's actually kind of easy to forget that you can use Windows 3.1 without a mouse. The entire interface can be done with keyboard controls only. I don't recommend it. I've tried it before. It's not pleasant, but you can. So, brief overview of the game. You're Tyler Norris, 10-year-old who's had to grow up quite rapidly. You must escape your dream by solving bizarre puzzles, traveling to strange lands, and meeting even stranger creatures. It's all in your mind, so nothing can hurt you. Right? And the story so far. So life has not been easy for Tyler Norris. A stressed 10-year-old boy has to deal with school, his paper route, and the recent loss of his father. Over the past few evenings, he has been having several extremely vivid and detailed dreams. Dreams in which he has met odd characters and solved many puzzles. Tonight, Tyler falls asleep after a particularly bad day. His report card came. He begins to dream. It starts out as any night before, but suddenly he is falling through a storm to an unknown destination. Tyler lands in a deserted alleyway in an unfamiliar city. He wipes himself off, stands up, and begins to piece together the puzzles that will unlock his happiest and most sinister thoughts, resulting in a confrontation with the evil that lurks in all of us. So, I've never played the full experience, so I don't know how deep this goes, but it gets a little weird, let's put it that way. And yeah, the ordering details aren't in that particular file, so let's see if I can actually find some order details. On order.doc, and they were selling this particular game for $30, which, a little high, but you're going to see that the quality is actually not that bad. And I actually got a lot of Epic's games in here right now. Have I actually covered all of these? Solar Winds is one that I want to get to at some point. Dare to Dream is the one we're about to look at. Jill of the Jungle, I've done that one. Ancients 1 Death Watch. I forget if that's shown up on Shovelware Diggers or not. I think I have a disc of this hiding somewhere, maybe. Yeah, this one's a little weird in terms of status. Overkill, we've done that one. Bricks and Bricks 2 have not done that one. Castle of the Winds, done that one. Kiloblaster, done that one. Adventure Math Deluxe, definitely haven't done that one. And Gravis Gamepad, I don't own one. Oh well. So I'm not actually sure which executable is the game and which is the self-extractor. Guess I could try running them. Let's try this one. Okay, this is the right one. So Dare to Dreams detected you're playing the game in a higher resolution than 640 by 480. On very few video cards, Dare will experience problems on higher resolutions. Experience problems may be a good idea to lower your resolution. I think we'll be okay here. So we have to choose our part. If we try to choose a part we don't have, it will simply boot us back. So we'll choose part 1. Game. Yeah, oh, okay, there it goes. That actually took it a moment for some reason. Unless it was trying to play music or something. I don't think it was. We do have Sound Blaster options. Changes made to Sound Blaster setup will take effect next time game is played. Okay, so Dare to Dream comes with a fabulous Sound Blaster / AdLib soundtrack. If your Windows setup includes the following, you may be able to enjoy the incredible music of Robert Allen. So, note, other than digitized WAV files, the sound port should be free from all other music input by other applications. So basically it's saying make sure nothing else trying to use sound is running at the same time as you try to run this. So let's test. Well, that definitely sounds like music. So, does your system support this? Yes. Okay, so you've already seen the story so far, although this time we actually get a little picture of Tyler Norris here. Not looking so good. So yeah, it's basically the same thing. Actually, hang on. Oh, this is actually a lot more detailed than it was in the text file. I thought it was going to be like the same as in the text file, but no, there's actually a lot more here. Well, okay, there's more here, not a lot more. Regardless, you do get some pictures along with it. Okay, so new game. And Dare to Dream has an easy mode for beginning and younger adventurers, or people who do not play games that often. Do you like easy mode turned on? I think I'm going to be okay. Is this your first time playing Dare to Dream? No, but I'm going to say yes, just so I can show how this works. So great, we hope you enjoy Dare to Dream. A few things to remember. Click anything you think looks interesting and double click to rapid clicks to perform actions. Remember the mouse pointer will change depending on what you move it over. So yeah, so as you move the mouse pointer around here, nothing is changing. Oh no, wait, the pointer itself is changing, right? So if we click here, we can see it's a piece of rubber, and the online help is now interrupting us. Keep an eye on status box at the bottom of the screen. Tells you 90% of everything important. Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't have turned that thing on. So yeah, so if we double click instead, you take the piece of rubber and put it in your pajama pocket. And if we look at our inventory, we now have this strange rubber object has boofs written on the side and a string attached to it. Okay. Try clicking inventory to see what you're carrying at the moment. Okay. If there's something you'd like to use the selected item on, simply double click on it. Yeah, so it's basically, there's no right clicks if I remember correctly, it's all left clicks or left double clicks. You know, I don't think we can actually turn off that help thing that ended up showing up. No, it has... I swear this is on a timer. I guess I probably shouldn't have turned that on because it's actually getting more in the way than allowing us to actually play the thing. So yeah, so there's actually a lot going on here. So if we go to the options, there's actually an option between VGA and SVGA. I don't think this actually really changes much. Because you see, nothing actually happens when I make changes there. And you can see we can actually move these windows around too. And it can kind of get a mess. So there's actually an arrange button here, which isn't doing anything. The arrange button's supposed to put everything back to where it's supposed to be, but I guess that doesn't work for some reason. Unless I'm remembering it wrong. Well, I guess I'll just put everything back manually. Right, and if you want to deselect an item, like not have an item selected, you just hit the cancel button from the inventory. So anyway, so it says here the west wall has some graffiti sprayed on the deteriorating stucco. East wall has a lone window on it that a laundry line is attached to. Some spray paint is on the wall. Then I don't think, because yeah, it is changing some of the dialogue. Like right here, the alley is full of garbage such as newspapers, boxes, and banana peels. And we only had the one. Oh no, wait, we got another one. A pair of polka dotted underwear hang from the clothesline. Double click, leap up and tug the underwear off the clothesline. We're stealing people's underwear. Well, it's a dream, so who cares? And we can see we got a little exit cursor here. So if we left click just once, it says the front of Boof's Bar and Auto Repair, and then double click to actually do it. So yeah, it's basically single clicks to look and double clicks to act. The sidewalk has been baked and cracked from the sunlight it's constantly exposed to during the hot summer days. Except for the fact that we're in a dream, it's technically never been exposed to any hot summer days, but then what do I know? Dreams are weird. And then we can go to the west side of town, we can go to the street corner, or we can go to the inside of Boofs. Okay, now here's something I do particularly remember about this game, now that we're in this location here. Later in the game, there's going to be more things to do on this screen. So this game kind of plays out like the second King's Quest game, in that as you do certain things in the game world, more things open up for progression. So basically there's a linear path the game is expecting you to take, and you can't stray too far off of that path. Boofs is unusually dead tonight. It's usually the hottest spot in town where all the lounge lizards go to meet friends and influence people. Because a 10-year-old would somehow know this? Yeah, even though this game is supposed to be revolving around a 10-year-old, a lot of the writing really doesn't make it feel that way. I don't know, it's kind of weird like that. We got a door up there, but it's locked tight, so unfortunately we're not going anywhere there. Various bar-like apparatus spots the bottom floor of Boofs. Doesn't look like there's anything else much to do right now, so let's find the exit right there. So we have an advertisement here for crack cola. I don't want to know what they put in that. These cones are nothing compared to the ones in the window. See what I mean? This is not what 10-year-olds think about. And we have a path here to Pier 69. Way to put that one on the nose. Oh wait, there's an interaction up here. Sides of the pipe are caked with grime. You want nothing to do with the pipe. Yeah, try telling that to Mario. So yeah, the one thing about this game which is a little annoying if it's your first time playing is that there's a lot of pixel hunting. And because of the fact that there's such a linear progression to everything, it can actually take a while to just find what exactly you're supposed to do to progress. So, I mean, the game's not without its flaws, but at the same time, it's basically a text adventure, but with a graphical component to it. Also, the building stretches off into the night sky, and we can't do anything there. So yeah, that was Dare to Dream, game from Epic Mega Games, graphic adventure. It's got a lot more to it than I'm kind of able to show in just this short little amount of time, just because it's difficult to get it going, because so many things are locked off behind linear progression. But at the same time, like, if you liked these kinds of games, then this one was actually pretty decent and had a lot to it. Like, I know I keep saying if I'm remembering correctly, but the thing is that I'm pretty sure this game, that of the screens that I've shown so far, that only represents like a tiny fraction of this first episode, to say nothing of the later two. Okay, so next up from Christopher Groff, we have a failed dig. WINGAMES /GG/BATTDD. But this is going to be an exception to the usual failed dig process. I want to show this one in full because this went places. I'm going to guess battle something, maybe? I'm not quite sure what this one. BATTDD. So, got a couple help files. Text file. For some reason it's called Bembust? That doesn't make any sense. We gotta install the text into README first. Okay, README first. Battles in a distant desert. Okay, so battles in a distant desert and all additional scenarios. Copyright 93-94. Glacier Edge Technology. The basic game and the berm busting scenario. Interesting. Okay, this is a little bit of a weird one. So apparently we're only allowed to play the first 25 of 50 turns for this scenario. And if we want to register the scenario, but not necessarily the game as a whole, then it's only $5. But if you want to register the game as a whole, there's like multiple ways to do it. Yeah, so basically, the more you spend on the game, the more scenarios you get, is what it comes down to. So, It's kind of a weird way to do it. You'd think you'd just sell the scenarios separately and just have like one all-encompassing pack for people who just want to get everything, but I don't know. Okay, so apparently this guy's also trying to charge for vendor registration so that you are allowed to distribute the game. That's not how the shareware concept works, so good luck trying to get anyone to pay that fee. I guess that didn't give us too much to go on. Let's try the text file. Okay. This is not a text file. Also, it's mentioning the One Piece. What? Yeah, so clearly this was not formatted for a normal text file. So maybe it's like some other format. I don't know, just looking at that. What about the help file? This is not a valid Windows help file. We're off to a great start here. Does the INI file? Nope. Even the INI file is not a proper... Oh boy, I got a bad feeling this isn't going to work. This program or one of its components is compressed. Use the MS-DOS expand utility to copy the file from the setup disks. Okay, so I guess we have to actually install it first. This happens so frequently with this particular CD too, is that you have all of these files and then a setup folder, and the setup folder just has all of these same identical files. Okay, it looks like we're going to be installing this sucker. So I guess setup. So shareware, battles in a distant desert installer, program, create program group, item, etc. Okay, please confirm you want me to continue. Yes. So where do we want to install it? Or wait, want to move the game to the shareware battles in a distant desert is in. Like, is it asking me where the files are located or where I want to install them to? It says here, if you want to move the game to a different disk and directory, then enter the disk and directory where you want it moved and press OK. That's kind of a weird way of saying it. Let's just do cprompt games. I don't know if this is my Windows install, so I don't know how I have this set up at the moment. Battles in a distant desert. BATTDD. So, okay. It is an invalid path. Please re-enter. I need an extra backslash? What do you want from me, installer? Okay, if I hit cancel, now it's asking me to create a program item in this group? Okay. Is the game installed? I don't know what's going on here. Okay, I have a battles in a distant desert thing, but it's linked to an MS-DOS thing that wants to be expanded? What is going on? I mean, I guess we can try this install.bat. It's not very big. Wonder what it does. Oh, well, that helps. It showed something and then did nothing. I guess I could load in a DOS prompt. How do I do that? I haven't done that from Windows 3.1 in forever. Okay, MS-DOS prompt. So we want to go to... Where were we? Okay, now I don't even remember where we located that. Okay, install.bat is in 2000 CD, WINGAMES, GG, BATTDD. Okay, so back to the DOS prompt. So, and this is going to look weird on the recording because it's doing resolution changes. So anyways, CD, 2000, CD, WinGames, GG, BATTDD. Okay, install. Install with setup.exe from Windows. This thing really doesn't want me to play it. What actually happens if I try to run that other thing? BDD. This application has violated system integrity due to exception of terminated. This thing really doesn't want me to play it. I think this is the first time I've ever encountered a program that's resisting my attempts to play it. Like, every time I try to do something, it's like, nope, that's not gonna work. Like, we've got these help files, which are not actually help files. We've got text files, which are not text files. Or maybe they're, like, still compressed or something. Like, is this game in, like, a pseudo-compressed state? Like, did somebody... Okay. You know, thinking about this right now, I have to wonder if maybe these were all supposed to be underscore files in a compressed state, and somehow whoever put this here managed to rename all the files to their proper names, but they're still compressed. I don't know how you would do that even. Okay, maybe if I try with the installer here, confirm you want to continue. Maybe if I just leave this as it is, hit OK. Hit OK there. I don't think that did anything. Like, I put another one of these in, but no, it's still telling me it's compressed thing and doesn't work. So the installation instructions in the README first are alluding to a zip file that the game was originally distributed in, which we clearly don't have. But that just makes it even more confusing, because it's saying here that once you've unzipped the contents, there's going to be a setup to run, which moves the files that have been extracted from the like, it's saying that these files should be the working state, but they clearly aren't. So yeah, I think this is the first time I'm actually going to show an entire failed dig process, because this was just a trip and a half trying to get this working. And we ultimately couldn't. And I'm going to guess this doesn't work either? No, of course it doesn't. Yeah, and it was just, it's just in a weird state to begin with. Like, the whole thing with having to pay to distribute it as a distributor, the whole concept of Shareware is that the Shareware version is free to distribute. You can't have vendors charging, you can't be charging fees to vendors to distribute it. That's not how it works. Oh my, like, I mean, I know there's this whole concept of putting, of the idea being that you shouldn't have vendors profiting off of the shareware. Like, a vendor shouldn't be trying to sell the shareware itself. But with the whole notion of these compilations and everything, some shareware authors would usually put in some kind of note about there having to be limits to, like, what you can be charging for people for your shareware distribution. That kind of makes sense. But no, this instead is just saying flat out, if you want to distribute this game, then you have to pay money for it as a vendor. But yet at the top here, it's saying, please make copies and give to your friends or upload to other BBS. And then what about the BBS? Like, these BBSs, if they have uploads coming in from other people, they're now becoming a distributor that has to pay for this because somebody else put it there. That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that was our failed attempt to try and run Battles in a Distant Desert, which clearly hasn't been put in this archive properly, or something weird is going on, or I don't know. I have never encountered a game that is resisting my attempts to run it to this extent. Oh man. And our last dig for today from Ben Jemmett is wingames/gg/explosive. Okay, if this doesn't end with an explosion of some kind, I'm going to be very disappointed. Explosive. Okay, we got another setup folder with the exact same files in it. Oh boy, hopefully this one works. Hopefully. Well, this time we've got a README without a file extension, so that's never fun. So, where's my notepad? We got accessories, notepad, and drag and drop. So, explosive screensaver. Due to the lack of a .scr file, it would have never guessed this is a screensaver. But, okay. Explosive is distributed as shareware. It's not free. That means you may freely distribute Axle to others? What? I thought this was the explosive screensaver. What the heck is Axle? Oh, well, now that's interesting. This is actually both a DOS and a Windows screensaver, which is odd. Here's the thing. For a Windows screensaver, normally you would link it in with, like, the proper... Where is that? Normally you'd link it in with the proper, you know, screensaver option for the desktop and stuff. But this seems to be its own separate executable? It's kind of a weird thing. And then for DOS, like, a DOS screensaver, the only way you can get that working is if you actually... had like a terminate and stay resident program keeping track of things. Like maybe that's what this COM file is. And then once a particular amount of time has passed without any input, it triggers the executable file. Like that would be the only way to do it. Wait, what? A 16-page printed manual for a screensaver? How complicated is this thing? Oh, and it says to see order.form for details for ordering information. I don't want to... I'm like... hazarding a guess, this is going to be severely overpriced. Also, I left control panel open for some reason. So where's our order form? Oh, right. We gotta back to accessories, get my notepad going. Okay, so who wants to guess how much this is going to cost? I'm going to guess $25. Oh, it gets even more complicated. So apparently this guy's, decided to embrace volume discounts in the 1,000+ range because apparently there's going to be people who want to install this screensaver on 1,000 or more computers. Oh, geez. Also, $10 per unit at 1,000+. Really? That's incredibly high when you compare the normal pricing here. So yes, it's $20 for a single copy of the explosive screensaver, and apparently there's a deluxe version that's $30, and then whatever this Axle desktop thing is, which was referred to earlier, it's $35. So, yep, this had better work really nicely. Okay, so I think this here is the installer for the screensaver, so if we hit this, please wait while explosive is being installed in Windows. Okay, it says please wait, but it's also got an OK button. So am I waiting, or do I have to click the OK button? Well, I guess we'll click the OK button. Give it a little wait. Installation has successfully completed. Install has successfully completed the installation of Explosive for Windows. And has quit to DOS? What? Okay, I'm gonna go back in. Okay, we got a new program thing for apparently a logo and the program itself. That's confusing. Why did it have to why did it quit out of Windows? Like, do we actually have anything here in the desktop? Do you have an explosive in... No, we don't. Okay, so nothing new is in the screensaver list, which is weird. So, I guess... Well, let's try this logo thing first. Explosive screensaver is shareware, permitted to use on a trial basis, not exceed 30 days. Okay, so... Okay, that put a little thing in the corner. So we got a setup here. So we can select an image, select time, got options, password, screensaver is on. We do have a start thing here. That doesn't seem to do much. Oh, that just put us into the actual program instead of the logo thing, which I guess is a separate program for whatever reason. Okay. Okay, so I'm guessing to actually look at these, we have to use this demo button. So if we hit demo here, okay, so this is working a little weird. Basically, if you move the mouse outside of this little window, it stops the demonstration. But what's going on here is it's almost like a firework effect, but it's like got these weird delays going on. Like, it's not happening... Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that weird delay. Unless that's intentional? I can't imagine that's intentional. Like, the fireworks look fine, it's just there's this weird delay that's holding them in, like, different states. Because, yeah, it's just pausing the firework at certain moments. I don't know why it's doing that. Like, look at the mouse. I am moving the mouse this whole time. Okay, so Arania, or Arania? I don't know what it means by that. Okay, so it's doing some sort of fractal effects here. That's kind of neat. This basically randomly generates one and then pauses for a moment. See, like, this makes sense to have it pause after these. I don't know why the fireworks are pausing. The fireworks didn't need to pause. Surrender. So what do we got here? Okay, similar effect, except more of a mosaic kind of pattern going on. I will admit, these patterns that it's generating are kind of neat. Yeah, this next one's maze, so this better create some interesting mazes. And unfortunately, this doesn't look anything like a maze. It's basically just a bunch of random lines. Okay, this one's doing that same weird pausing as before. It's supposed to just be this triangle bouncing around, but it bounces for a moment, then freezes, then bounces for another moment. Okay, that's interesting. If I set the delay rate to its maximum limit, then the pauses are still happening, but the pauses are not as long. Almost suggesting that it's like there's a fixed amount of processing that this screensaver is getting, and it's burning through all of it before its next segment of processing is given to it. Like, that's what it feels like. Okay, if you turn the number of objects up to its maximum limit of 9, the firework effect here is actually pretty cool. It's still got that delay going. I have no idea why it's doing that. Okay, I think what's going on might be DOSBox related, because if I drop the actual cycles processing for DOSBox, it slows down the rate even more, as you can see. But it also kind of gets rid of those delays. Like, it's still stuttering every moment or so, but for the most part, it's actually working properly now. So let's leave it like that. Just adjust the DOSBox settings as necessary. Okay, it also turns out that this gyro one is also supposed to flip through different kinds of shapes, because I'm seeing different shapes here, like diamonds and three-dimensional cubes and such, but it's still got that weird delay going on because this one's just way too fast. Okay, this is the clock effect, and I've already got reservations about this being a screensaver. Cause that's not gonna do nice for the screen. You're gonna have a big hole burned into it. So this was apparently the discus effect, which is basically doing this weird disc-like effect, which unfortunately doesn't look like it's gonna save the screen very well, because if you're paying close attention to this, you're gonna notice that it's barely touching the upper left corner. So eventually you're gonna have this sort of rectangular area in the top, maybe slightly slanted too, in the top left of your screen that's going to be slightly brighter than the rest of it. If you were running the screensaver for a lot of days in a row. So I don't think this is a good one here. So this one is trees, and this one's actually kind of interesting. It's doing the whole fractal tree thing, but it's altering some of the parameters of the branches. So instead of making the branches symmetrical, it's actually random to some degree. And same with the colors that are selected too. So this one's actually pretty cool as well. Then we got orchid here, which is another one of these random patterns. And this one's actually it's more of a, what do you call it? I'm actually blanking on the term for this right now, because there is a term for this kind of artwork where it's symmetrical but rotational. For some reason, I can't remember what that term is at the moment. Okay, this one's called IFS, and I'm guessing it's referring to the fractal type, because that's kind of what it looks like is going on here. This one is called flow. I don't quite understand what it means by that. This one's called stars, and this one just seems to produce random star fields. This one's called Linus, and it's just a bunch of lines. This one's called chaos, and apart from it skipping because of the timing issues, this one actually looks like it would be really kind of mesmerizing to watch for a little if it was actually processing properly. The only reservation I have with this one is it looks like the pattern might be very samey, which wouldn't be good for saving the screen. Then we got ricochet, which is just dumb. I think it's supposed to be bouncing objects, but it's not really working so well. And the last one here is called blank. I'm going to guess that just blanks the screen. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. So yeah, that was EXPLOSIV, a screensaver program which acts independently of the standard Windows screensaver system. It's interesting, I'll give it that. It's definitely one of the more complete screensaver packages that we've seen, although I'm not entirely certain it would be worth the price they were asking. Like, it's hard to say with this kind of stuff, because when you go back that far into the early days of Windows and the whole concept of screensavers in the first place, and yeah, people were willing to spend like decent chunks of money on these things. But at the end of the day, it comes down to how much do you like the aesthetics of it? Like, that's basically what it comes down to with screensavers, is how much do you like the aesthetics of it? And for this, yeah, the aesthetics are nice. I'm just not sure I would pay $20 for it.